guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for June 2nd. So today we still have the Mystic Triangle, but we have another interesting energy to talk about, and that is the Sun in Cancer is going to quincunx Saturn in Sagittarius, which is in retrograde still, and we have Mars in Scorpio. It's going to quincunx Uranus in Aries all day. At the same time, we're having that Mystic Triangle. So today's emotions or emotional issues may run high as the reality of forward energy hits you. See, Cancer energy, when we have Mercury in Cancer and we have Sun in Cancer and we have Venus in Cancer, likes things to be familiar and likes comfort zones and really gains a lot of peace in familiarity. In this energy, you're kind of being pushed forward, which can create a little bit of imbalance at the way that we're looking at our situation. So I think emotions may intensify as you become very passionate about your goals. See, there's a lot of forward thinking going on and all this cardinal energy, and you just can't help it at this point to be guided to be thinking on the scale. However, it's challenging comfort zones in our minds, and that pushes us a little bit out of balance and can push us emotionally out of balance as we try to navigate through this energy. Now remember that we're at the point of navigation. We haven't actually reached our destination yet. The Mystic Triangle is going to be around until the 12th of July, which means there's a lot that we need to be influenced by. There's a lot of energy that will slowly come to us that will clarify and create a lot of balance in our lives. So first we've got to take a look at our goals, obviously, and we have to become committed to these goals because this energy is all about, all of these energies love commitment. And so what we got to do is embrace this new life and this new way of being, this new way of thinking. We've got to embrace that emotionally, and I think there lies some of the energy of being in these quincunxes, because it creates a lot of emotional intensity, and we need to identify ourselves in this energy. And one of the things is if we're falling out of our comfort zones, it can be difficult to to really identify that that's where we want to invest our energy, because comfort zones and familiarity deeply resonate with most people, unless you're like an Aquarius and then they really like to shake things up. But this could be a relationship goal, a home and family goal, a work or career goal, or some goals regarding mental or physical well-being is definitely going to be on many of your minds, especially if you have been going through where you're having a lot of mental sensitivities. Many people, what we're finding out in this energy is that we have had a great deal of imbalance in our lives, and what we're trying to do in this energy is accept that there is something that we need to change. Therefore, it pushes us out of comfort zones, and so it can be a little bit different, and it can cause you to have a quincunx and cling to things a little bit too hard in the past, and you really don't want to let go of that sweet, comfortable level in your life and kind of go forward in energy. Attend to all the details that you've been kind of putting in the back burner because you've been so deeply overwhelmed with all of this new energy. Now, the opposition is that we have Pluto in Capricorn, which is in retrograde, which opposes Venus in Cancer. This can deal with the fear that you associate with moving forward and away from past comfort zones. This has a lot to do with money. Many of you are fearing some of the challenges with money that you have to go through moving forward. But what I think is really intense about this energy is that when we're taking a look at our environment and we're making commitments to it, for some of us, there could just be that reality of we need to make more money, or, we're not pleasing ourselves enough with money. It's going all toward just the details, and we're not having enough fun. I think that could be some of the energy that some of us feel in this energy. So we're going to start to want to create some goals and budgets and things that we can do to work with this energy. Virgo, Jupiter in Virgo energy, and that's all water water and earth-based energy. And then we have Jupiter in Virgo, which is opposing Neptune in Pisces, which can deal with creating structure and attending to sensitive details that before now you were unwilling to see, facing what you choose to be conscious about. Now, this is about becoming conscious of some of the things that we were trying to suppress deep in the unconscious. This is about facing things in this energy. Now, we have to face these things because that's how we create balance in our lives. But for many of us, there's a challenge in that. And the challenge is in this energy, it seems like we're kind of, all of us, because of all the mutable energy, and we have that big mutable T-square, there was a lot of energy pulling us in many different directions, and there was a lot of confusion. So what we're doing is deciphering in this energy, becoming very, very cardinal with our thoughts anymore. It's not about just being blissfully confused and having no direction in this energy. It's about deciphering, detailing it all out, and then really honestly making firm commitments to what we want to do. Now, harmonious energy and all the positive energy that comes out of this is our personal planets, which are Venus, and Venus is going to be, asking us to, really attend to the details that make home life comfortable. So for some of you, it could be, you could be painting, you could be sprucing things up, you could, change some of your routines at home. You could do some maintenance that really beautifies everything and just, spruces up the yard or whatever, or your house. You may buy some items that increase your comfort. You set up a budget for some of you, especially if it's goals that have to do with the home and family. Those are going to feel beautiful, and they're going to be sextile, and there's going to be an ease in energy. Now, for some of you that need to take a look at environmental things, you may feel compelled to slow down and kind of recharge in this energy. You're going to, this reflective energy still, we have the past and the present, so we've got to consider both. And so we're still at that point where we're revisiting some old work goals and trying to pull them into the future. We're revisiting some recognition or career aspirations in this energy. We're rekindling some hope through some realistic, hopeful mindsets. I think for many of us in the mutable energy, it just actually, all of that mutable energy made a lot of unrealistic thought processes kind of fall apart because it was so unstable, which is good because now we can start to build things on a much more firm foundation for us, which I think is completely essential in this energy. I think that for many of us, we become conscious of the fears and that we can face them. This is an energy that is going to encourage you to be ego-less, so that you can realize your infinite potential, which then in turn empowers you. Now remember that we have some energy in this, and one of the things that I noticed is that we have kind of flip sides of things. We have this Uranian cardinal energy that is involved in the T-square that's really asking us to firm things up, to make a move. I mean, some of us are really forward in this energy. We no longer want to be, tied down. And for some of us, that can make us super headstrong and make us overreactive and make us extremely fixed. And we may lose perspective. So remember what I said in this energy. You don't want to give any particular energy on, in the mystic triangle, too much energy. We have to balance between the four energies, or we'll sway and we'll lose our balance. So although it's good to fixate on some powerful goals and outcomes, and to really try to be forward, don't forget the past wisdom. And then on the other side of that, we have the Saturn T-square going on. And the Saturn is still caught in that mutable T-square. So it's asking you to be firm, but flexible at the same time. Remember that we can't be extreme in this energy. We've had a great deal of extreme energy lately, and it's been super unfortunate, and it's been followed by a lot of consequences that I believe have been really shocking for some. caught in the fact that they were building their foundation on a quicksand and they never even knew it, or they were building their foundation in a floodplain and they had a massive rainstorm and it flooded it out and it was never disclosed. So understand that some of us are caught in the flood. Some of us are caught cleaning up after the flood. Some of us are caught in extremely forward energy. We'll bag this. I'm going to take a loss on this and I'm moving elsewhere because I'm not going to build, anything in a foundation that is this unstable. We have to consider wisdom of life experience in this, because that's why that mystic rectangle has both the past emphasized and the future emphasized. Because if we can take a look at those two extremes, now we're so used to the duality in this energy, because it's been heavily influencing us, that I think what's wonderful about this energy is we're going to consider our past experience, our past wisdom, that we've attained from all of this past experience. And then we're going to apply that to the future. If we're wise, if we're fully embracing the mystic triangle, then what we're really trying to learn is really positive ways of making it through some of this energy. This is a glorious, glorious energy. To me, it's just full of potential, full of a lot of creativity. Now remember that comfort zones are going to feel a little bit shaky for us. Either way, we're making some changes, and changes really challenge comfort zones. And so you might feel like the crab in the shell in this energy, that he sees danger and he slips back in the shell. But here's the problem. You can actually stay in this energy because there's so much volatility around you that even though you're in your shell, you're still not safe in your shell. You need to relocate your mindset. You need to relocate yourself. And for some of you, you're going to have to eventually crawl out of your shell to use your little legs to like scurry to the next area. So to get out of this torrential area, or turbulent area. So it would be my recommendation that if we start to feel this energy brewing and it starts to feel turbulent and it starts to get scary for some of us, that what we really deeply embrace is the fact that we're just in this beautiful state of transformation and regeneration. And July is a different kind of month. July is filled, it's filled with the universe asking you, what does your heart desire? In the middle of the mystic triangle is your heart. What do you desire most? And for some of you, I'm going to say most all of you, it's going to be comfort, security, longevity, stability, because there has been so much instability and lack of all of that. That I believe that what is going to challenge that is for some of us to get what we want. We have to make these radical changes. Hence, some of this Uranian T-square energy that's just really honestly asking us to make some cardinal changes, move forward. Uranian energy is a non-forgiving energy. It's a radicalist. It's a rebellious. It's, super energetic and really futuristic. And really honestly, if you get on that train, I believe that it may jolt you out of some of the stagnant energy that we seem to want to stay in, just as a defense mechanism. And most of the time that's all fear-based and a really counterproductive part of the human experience on this planet. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. Again, thank you for letting me do these this way. Unfortunately, I just don't feel great, and just doing it this way seems a little bit easier right now. I look forward to seeing you guys again real soon.